Welcome back to the deep dive. This is where we, cut through all the noise and really give you that streamlined, high-value info you need to get up to speed quickly. Today, we're diving deep into the 2025 playbook for, well, what might just be the lowest risk way to get into e-commerce, print on demand, POD, as most people call it. And our mission today, it's not just about defining POD. We want to give you, our listener, a really clear, actionable roadmap, how you can sell your custom designs online, but totally skip the headaches, like no inventory, no runs to the post office, zero storage fees eating into your profits. We're basically talking about turning your creativity into, hopefully, some consistent income.
Yeah, and what's really, I think, transformative about print on demand is how it just surgically removes that upfront financial risk. The risk that comes with launching physical products. Like, if you've ever thought about selling T-shirts, maybe mugs, but then you pictured ordering, 200 of them and having boxes piled up in your garage. Well, POD solves that exact problem. It's really a business model where you get to focus purely on the design side and the marketing side. You just upload your artwork, could be anything, right? A complex drawing, a clever logo, even just a relatable quote. You upload that onto the back-end system of a fulfillment partner. And the key thing is the actual product. It literally doesn't exist until a customer clicks buy.
Exactly. And that's a key difference from, say, traditional drop shipping, which often feels like just moving generic stuff around. With POD, you're selling something more. You're selling identity. You're selling connection through your design, really selling your unique creative spark. The T-shirt or the mug, that's just the canvas. The value is your design.
Okay, so let's lay out the operating system first. We should walk everyone through the basic steps, right? How does this POD workflow actually function? Then maybe we can get into finding those hot niches, platform choices, and importantly, managing expectations around profit. Let's start with the mechanics, though, because they seem, well, deceptively simple.
Yeah, they really are. And the beauty of it, once you get it set up, is the automation. A lot of the process becomes pretty hands-off.
Okay, so talk us through. What are those, core stages, the 6 steps that connect a designer's idea to a paying customer? Right. So step 1, and this is crucial, it actually starts with strategy, not the design itself. You have to choose a niche. And you're looking for a really focused, passionate group. Think maybe retro sci-fi cat owners, not just cat owners, something specific. Okay, second, then you create your designs. This is where you let your imagination run wild, use tools like Canva, maybe even AI generators these days. Third step, you upload to platforms. These are your printing partners. Think Printful, Printify, Gelato, places like that. They're the ones with the blank products and the printing tech.
Right, and those platforms, they need a storefront. Yeah, like a place people actually buy from.
Exactly. So step 4 is connect your storefront. This is your actual online shop. Could be super easy, like on Redbubble, or maybe a dedicated brand on Shopify, or you could use Etsy for that sort of handmade vibe.
Okay, got it. Design, platform, storefront. What's next?
Step 5, and honestly, this is often the trickiest part. You've got to promote your store. If people don't see it, they can't buy it. So you need to drive traffic, usually from social media or ads, to your shop. And then the final step, number 6, is the payoff. Earn profits. Your printing partner handles the production, the shipping. They take their costs out, and the rest, the margin, that's yours. It just lands in your account.
And the system routes the order automatically, right? From the Shopify store or wherever, straight to Printful, then to the customer. You never touch the actual T-shirt.
Correct. You, the designer, never see or handle the physical stock. And that right there, that's the magic. It just removes all that logistical friction from selling stuff online.
Makes sense. So if you're thinking about starting an online business in, say, 2025, and maybe cash is tight, or you literally have no space for inventory, this model seems designed to sidestep those issues completely.
Precisely. It lowers the barrier to entry significantly.
Okay, so now we know how it works. The mechanics are clear. Let's shift to strategy, because, this seems like where a lot of people might stumble. You could have the world's best printing partner, but if your designs are just meh or too generic, you won't get noticed, right? Success really hinges on finding those passionate groups, the people who buy stuff, not just because it looks okay, but because it says something about who they are. It validates their identity.
Absolutely. That's the core idea. You want to target communities that use products, especially apparel and accessories, as a form of self-expression. And yeah, we looked into the trends, what's getting high engagement right now, and it's still very much identity-driven.
Okay, so give us the breakdown. What specific niches are really hot right now, showing that kind of passion and buyer interest for 2025?
All right, so we found several areas with real momentum. First off, fitness and gym motivation. That's kind of evergreen, right? But the angle now is more hyper niche. Think slogans for specific types of weightlifting or maybe designs about injury recovery, mobility work, not just generic go hard stuff. Then you've got these huge cultural buckets. Anime and gaming culture, I mean, the scale there is massive, global. And the demand for specialized designs, characters, inside jokes, memes, it it's intense. People buy a lot in those communities.
Yeah, I can see that identity theme really running strong there.
It's the thread tying it all together. We're also seeing huge growth in designs around mental health and self-care.
Yeah.
But it's not just about, like, slapping a ribbon on a shirt. It's more subtle, maybe affirming minimalist designs that speak to resilience, self-acceptance. Taps into that conscious consumerism trend, too. People want purchases to feel meaningful.
Interesting. What about the look itself? Are we talking super complex graphics still dominating or something else?
Actually, no. Often the opposite is true. Minimalist aesthetic designs are really popular. Clean lines, simple but strong typography, maybe some subtle humor. They just look more versatile, maybe a bit more high-end.
Okay.
And of course, you can't forget the absolute powerhouse. Pets, always huge. But again, the advice is niche down. Don't just do dog lover. Maybe focus on specific breeds or owners of pets that are harder to shop for, like reptile enthusiasts, maybe.
Reptile enthusiasts, okay.
Yeah.
That's specific.
Yeah. And finally, two more big ones. Designs that are conversational. So funny quotes and sarcasm, especially stuff with darker or very niche humor. And anything related to space and astronomy, that sense of wonder still really resonates with people.
That's a great list, and the context helps understand why those areas work. But okay, let's tackle the big one. Design skills. I know I'm not a graphic designer. I can barely draw a stick figure. Can someone like me really create a product that people will actually buy? Does it have to compete with professional artists?
You absolutely can. And that's a really common worry, which is why the sources we looked at really hammered this point. Something like 90% of successful POD sellers aren't pro designers. It's more about the concept, the message, the niche connection, not necessarily about creating, high art. And the tools available now, they've leveled the playing field dramatically.
Okay, so for the non-designers listening, maybe folks like me, what specific tools should we look at? And any quick design tips to make things look polished and actually sellable?
Definitely. First, embrace the tools that simplify things. Canva is probably the go-to starting point for easy layouts, text-based designs, that sort of thing. It's very user-friendly. If you want maybe slightly more professional-looking stuff, especially vector illustrations or unique text effects, check out Kittl. It's built more for apparel design. And don't forget asset libraries. Places like Creative Fabrica give you access to tons of pre-made graphics, fonts you can use commercially. That saves a ton of time.
What about those AI tools, and are they useful here?
Oh, absolutely. For unique illustrations without needing drawing skills. AI tools like Midjourney or Leonardo.ai are frankly game changers. You can literally type in a description like vintage celestial map, art style, watercolor, and it'll generate high-res images you can potentially use. Huge shortcut.
Wow, okay. That really lowers the barrier. So, assuming we have a design file, any tips on what makes a design actually work on a product? Things to keep in mind.
Yeah, 3 core things seem to pop up consistently. First, typography is king. Seriously, text-based designs with great fonts and clever layouts, they sell incredibly well because the message is instant. Second, try to stick with minimal colors. Simple palettes often look cleaner, more sophisticated, plus sometimes fewer colors means slightly lower printing costs, which helps your profit margin. Not always, but sometimes. And third, and this is crucial, always use the mock-up tools. Before you list anything for sale, put your design on that virtual t-shirt or mug provided by your POD partner. Check the size, the placement, does it look intentional, professional, don't skip that.
That makes total sense. Got to see how it actually looks on the thing. Okay, this flows nicely into the next bit. Where do we actually put these designs? We know you can start POD with almost no money down, but choosing the right platform seems pretty critical for where the business might go long term.
It really is. Your platform choice basically dictates how much control you have, how much marketing effort you need to put in yourself, and your potential for scaling later on. You can kind of think about it on a spectrum, maybe like easy traffic versus full control.
Okay, let's start with easy traffic, low hassle. For someone just wanting to dip their toes in.
Right. For just starting out or maybe pure experimentation, you lean on the big marketplaces. They already have millions of shoppers browsing. Redbubble is probably the easiest. You just upload your design. They handle absolutely everything else. No need to build your own website. Super simple. Teespring, now Spring, is similar, and it's often really good for jumping on quick trends, stuff you see blowing up on social media or memes. Great for testing ideas fast.
But what if you want something that feels a bit more branded. Or maybe fits a certain aesthetic, but you still want some of that built-in audience.
Okay, yeah. If you're going for that sort of higher quality, maybe handmade feel, a really strong combination is using Printify as your back-end printer connected to an Etsy storefront. Etsy's audience is actively looking for unique creative stuff. So if your designs fit a niche there, you get visibility. The downside, Etsy has its own fees, listing fees, transaction fees, so that cuts into your margin.
Right. Got to factor that in. Now, what about the serious option? If someone's thinking, I want to build a real brand, scale this thing up.
Okay, for serious scaling, building a professional brand, having total control. The sources consistently point to Printful paired with Shopify as the quote-unquote top combo for 2025. Shopify gives you your own standalone store, complete control over the branding, the customer experience, pricing, everything. And Printful is known for premium product quality and really smooth integration. That setup, Shopify plus Printful, it's basically built for scaling, especially using paid ads. It's more work up front, definitely, but the ceiling is much higher.
That's a really important distinction. If you go the Shopify route, you own the platform, your brand looks pro. But you're responsible for finding every single customer.
Right.
100% of the traffic.
Exactly. You trade that built-in marketplace traffic for complete control and brand authority. It's a trade-off you need to consider based on your goals.
Which leads us perfectly into marketing. Because like you said, you can have the most amazing design on the slickest Shopify store. But if you just upload it and wait, crickets. You have to actively drive traffic. That seems non-negotiable.
Absolutely critical. This is where the real work comes in, especially after the initial setup. And in 2025, your marketing needs to be super visual and really engaging. Just, posting a flat picture of a t-shirt on a white background, that's probably not going to cut it anymore.
So what does work best for POD products then? What should people focus on?
Social media marketing, but specifically using lifestyle images. You need to show actual people wearing the shirts, holding the mugs, using the tote bags, preferably in cool settings or relatable situations. It makes the product feel more real, more aspirational, helps the customer imagine themselves using it. Instagram and Pinterest are obviously key for this visual stuff.
Okay, lifestyle shots. What else?
Well, connecting back to how people consume content now, you really can't ignore short-form video. Using TikTok or YouTube Shorts is huge. Make short, catchy clips. Could be about the designs themselves, maybe tapping into the niche humor, quick behind-the-scenes stuff. It's about building that community connection rapidly.
So the goal is really making your products discoverable within that passionate niche community we talked about earlier, right? Getting in front of the right eyeballs.
Precisely. If your niche is sarcastic book lovers, your TikTok could be a funny skit about book hoarding that resonates with them, and maybe your branded mug is just subtly visible in the shot. It feels organic.
Gotcha. And when does paid advertising come into play? When do you start spending money to scale up?
The signal is usually when you have a proven winner, a specific design that starts selling consistently just from your organic efforts, your social media stuff. Once you identify that winner, that's when you consider investing. You use paid ads, maybe Facebook ads, maybe TikTok ads, to pour targeted traffic directly onto that high-converting product page. That's how you shift gears from side hustle to potentially a full-time brand.
Okay, let's talk payoff then. Because this whole thing sounds great low-risk creative outlet, but it also sounds like work. It's not a lottery ticket. Let's set some realistic expectations around profit. What can people actually expect to make, especially given the ranges we see mentioned?
Yeah, we definitely need to emphasize this is not a get-rich-quick thing. It's more like building equity over time in your brand, in your library of designs. Slow and steady. In terms of actual numbers, realistically, your profit per item sold is probably going to land somewhere between, say, $5 and $15. And the reason for that range is, well, it depends, right? A simple sticker or a basic white mug might only net you $5 profit. But a premium organic cotton hoodie or maybe an all-over print item, that could easily be $15 profit, maybe more. It depends on the base cost from your supplier and how much you mark it up.
Right. Understand your costs, including shipping, is key there.
Vital. You need to know your numbers.
So, okay, $5 to $15 per item. If someone gets their marketing going and finds a popular design, what could that look like in terms of monthly earnings? Is it just pocket money?
Well, the figures suggest that selling, say, 100 items a month is a pretty achievable goal once you've got things rolling and found a design that resonates. And if you do that kind of volume, 100 units. Well, based on that $5-15 range, you're looking at anywhere from $500 to maybe $1,500 in monthly profit. So yeah, it often starts as a really solid, scalable side hustle, but with consistent effort creating good designs, really focusing that marketing absolutely has the potential to grow into a brand that generates significant income, maybe even replace a full-time job eventually for some.
That puts it into perspective really well. Okay, so we've walked through the whole process, the automated workflow, finding passionate niches, design tips, even for us non-artists, platform choices, marketing, and now realistic profits.
Hmm.
If we were to sum up this whole deep dive, I guess the standout point for POD in 2025 is just how it strips away that traditional business risk, the inventory risk. It really opens the door for endless creativity and experimentation. It makes it maybe one of the simplest, most accessible online businesses you could start right now. So maybe the message is stop waiting, start testing some ideas.
Exactly. Which kind of leads to one final thought, maybe for you, the listener, to chew on. When all that risk inventory, storage, shipping, when that's all been removed from the equation, your focus shifts almost entirely to making that connection right through your design with the right audience. And the sources hint at this. Sometimes it just takes one viral design, one idea that perfectly hits the mark with a passionate community, and that alone can fundamentally change your business overnight. So how does knowing that possibility that even one hit can change everything, how does that influence the way you think about making your very first design? If success could hinge on that single creative spark connecting with the right identity, what's the best niche identity you could target right now? Makes you think, doesn't it?